In this question, we'll look at 5 standard form questions from the Dr. Frost site that students have incorrectly answered. So in this question, you've got the mass of concrete used in building both the Olympic Park and the Olympic Village. The masses are quoted in tons, and it asks you to find the total mass used. Writing in your answer in standard form, correct to 3 significant figures. So the easiest approach for this is actually just to actually add the 2 numbers themselves to start with. Don't convert them into standard form just yet. So you're doing 698792 added to 648500, and that equals 1347292. Now it asks you to do it to 3 significant figures, so let's do that next. So that is equal to 1350000 to 3 significant figures, 3SF. Just to check, the way you do that is you say, well, that's my first significant figure, there's my second, there's my third. This is where I'm going to cut the number, and the 7 tells you to round it up. So that's where our answer of 1350000 comes from. And then we need to write this in standard form. So that is 1.35 times 10 to the power of 6. It is always worth checking that you've got the right powers. If you look at where the decimal point position is, we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 positions away. That's our power. Now look at the answer the student gave. The student made 2 mistakes. First of all, they used a comma instead of a full stop. It has to be the full stop, it has to be the decimal point. And secondly, they only did to 2 significant figures, and the question says to 3. So you have to make sure you answer to the right accuracy and use the right notation when you're answering questions. This question, you're just dividing one standard form number by another, so you're actually putting these numbers directly into the calculator. Depending on your calculator, you'll have to make sure you know the format that your calculator wants it put in. But you literally put in the values here, 1.67 times 10 to the minus 7, divided by 9.11 times 10 to the minus 3. A common mistake here is not to put the standard forms inside brackets, and then your calculator may get confused. So make sure each of these terms is actually, or these expressions, is actually within its own set of brackets. That way the calculator should give you the right answer. Now, working this through, you will get an answer of 1.83 times 10 to the minus 5 to 3 significant figures. But it asks you to write this as an ordinary number. So if we look at what the number the student wrote, they wrote 0.00183. How far from the decimal point position are we? Well, we've gone 1, 2, 3 positions on this number. What the student has done is actually probably gone for 5, thinking that's 5 there. So clearly that's wrong. And the correct answer would be, as you can see on the top left there, 0.00000183. My little check, how far are we from the decimal position? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that matches with this, so that would be the correct answer. Here we have a question that can be quite misleading, and it's certainly misled the student with the answer they gave here. It's a division question in a way, because you're given the volume of ice in an ice sheet, and you're given the total surface area, and they want you to find the depth. So clearly that's the workings will be that the depth will be equal to the volume divided by the area. So that's the calculation you want to do. And what the student has done here is they have taken the figure here of 2.99 times 10 to the 6, they've divided it by the 1.799 times 10 to the 6, and they've got themselves an answer of 5/3 kilometers. However, the question says estimate. It's got estimate written there in nice bold letters. So producing the accurate answer is not what the examiner wants. It's not the skill that's being tested. The skill that's being tested here is actually, can you do an estimation? So if we look at the question again, we have a depth of 2.99 times 10 to the 6. That is approximately 3 times 10 to the 6. That's all it is. And the surface area, 1.799 times 10 to the 6, that's approximately 2 times 10 to the 6. I've written both numbers to one significant figure. And you can see, even without a calculator, that the answer here is going to be 3 divided by 2, which is 1.5. The 10 to the 6s would just cancel. So 1.5 is the answer. You should put kilometers on there, really, but you don't actually have to within this sort of question. But be careful to read the question properly and always look out for that word there, estimate. In this question, you're basically asked to add 5 numbers that are presented in standard form. These are the surface areas of the 5 oceans, and all you actually have to do is to add these 5 numbers together on a calculator. Then interpret your answer and write it down. We've got it here written to 3.358 times 10 to the power of 8. Your answers must be in standard form. Now what the student has done, it would appear, is they've added these numbers together, but also added the powers together of within the standard form, and that's clearly not true. Okay, so if you're adding numbers written in standard form, you do not add the powers themselves. So you just put the numbers into your calculator and then pull out the correct answer.